Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a concept that honestly feels like unlocking a different level, almost a different reality.
Yeah.
We're stepping beyond just chasing success,
Yeah.
and exploring what it means to actually become the kind of person who naturally, well, almost inevitably attracts it.
It's a huge shift, isn't it? A really fundamental one. And like you said, it's not some new age idea.
No?
This resonates deeply. You see it in insight spanning generations from profound thinkers, people like, say, Napoleon Hill, who really dedicated himself to understanding the blueprint of achievement.
Exactly. So as we get into this, the core question isn't really what's the secret formula I'm missing out there?
Right.
It's more like what internal transformation makes that external formula almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
What if the real leverage point is simply who you are becoming?
It flips the whole script. Instead of just gunning for the result, the achievement, the title, the bank account number, the focus shifts inward to your identity, your habits, the operating system you're building inside. Success, when you look at it like this, becomes less about a frantic hunt and more about cultivating an environment, an internal environment that success actually wants to find.
Okay. So our mission in this deep dive then is to unpack the core principles that really light up this path.
Let's do it.
By exploring these ideas, drawing from the wisdom we've seen in some pretty remarkable journeys, we want to give you a clearer picture of this whole transformative process and hopefully some concrete ways you can start embodying the person who attracts the success you're looking for.
Okay, let's dive in. I think the bedrock principle, the absolute foundation for all of this has to be who you become shapes your destiny.
Right. Let's really dig into that one because it sounds simple, maybe a little philosophical even.
It can, yeah.
But what does it practically mean to say that who we become determines where we end up?
Well, it means recognizing that every single choice you make, every reaction, every habit you build, it's not just a standalone thing.
Oh.
It's an act of sculpting your future self. Think of your daily actions like brushstrokes on the canvas of who you are.
Ah, I like that analogy.
Are you deliberately painting a picture of the person who's capable of hitting those big goals? Or are you just, letting random splatters land wherever?
So it's less about waiting for external forces or luck, though. Sure, they play some part.
Of course.
And more a direct result of that internal work, the mindset you foster, the disciplines you adopt, what you believe about yourself. These aren't separate from success.
Exactly. They are the engine. They drive it.
Okay.
Precisely. When you consistently cultivate qualities like discipline, integrity, vision, resilience, you are literally forging an identity that can handle and actually attract greater levels of success. You sort of become this magnetic force for opportunities that line up with that identity.
And you see this pattern again and again, don't you? In the stories of people who did extraordinary things. Take Edwin C. Barnes.
Oh, great example.
He didn't have money, didn't have connections. But he had this burning vision, this absolute conviction to work with Thomas Edison. Not just for him.
That's the key distinction, right, with him. In his own mind, he'd already decided he was going to be Edison's partner.
Right.
And that belief totally shaped his actions. He didn't wait for an invitation. He hopped a freight train to West Orange, basically broke.
Wow.
Didn't ask for a job in the usual sense. He presented himself as someone who was going to be a partner.
And Edison initially just gave him menial tasks.
Yeah, basic stuff.
Mm.
But Barnes didn't waver from that internal conviction. He just worked tirelessly, proved his worth through pure dedication. And then, when Edison had that tricky dictating machine,
The Ediphone.
that's the one. Nobody else could sell it. But Barnes stepped up.
And nailed it.
Succeeded spectacularly, became wealthy, and just like he'd envisioned, Edison's trusted business partner. His external success was a direct reflection of the internal person he'd become, that unwavering belief. He became the man who could attract that partnership.
Or think about Henry Ford. He had, 2 failed car companies before Ford Motor Company even got off the ground?
2 significant failures. But his vision, that affordable car for everyone, and his relentless focus on mass production, that was an identity he held on to regardless of setbacks.
Right.
Even through huge challenges like the Great Depression, it was his core principles, determination, resilience, built into the company culture and his own character that kept Ford going strong.
So these examples really highlight it. Success followed their becoming. They didn't get successful and then decide who to be.
No, the other way around.
They decided who to be, they acted like it consistently, and success was almost the natural outcome.
It's such a powerful idea. True success isn't just chased, it's attracted. By aligning your inner identity with your biggest vision, When you commit to becoming that person capable of success, you literally set forces in motion that draw it to you.
Which leads us perfectly into the next critical piece, doesn't it? You need to give that emerging identity some direction. That means clear, compelling goals.
Exactly. Becoming the right person is crucial, but without a destination, that growth can just be scattered.
Right.
Success isn't usually an accident.
Okay.
It's built intentionally,
Yeah.
stone by stone,
Yeah.
guided by defined goals and consistent effort.
And most people, if they even have goals, keep them really vague, like,
Yeah.
I want more money or I want to be happy. But those are feelings, not targets.
And without a clear target, you just drift, don't you? Life tends to happen to you rather than for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you define precisely what you want vividly, tangibly, that you actually grab the steering wheel.
That clarity isn't just helpful, it's actual power. What does success truly look like for you? Forget society's definition for a second.
Yeah, your own terms.
What will you be doing? What will you have created? What impact? Define it
Yeah.
specifically.
And then this is the crucial bit, break that big vision down. If your goal is building a thriving business, okay, what are the milestones for the next year, the next 6 months? What about this month, this week? What specific action has to happen today?
Making goals measurable, trackable, time-bound. It transforms them from just wishful thinking into a real practical roadmap. Success seems to love structure.
Absolutely. But a brilliant plan on paper is just potential energy, right?
Stuck on the page.
The real difference between dreaming and achieving boils down to execution, consistent execution,
Yeah.
and those goals. They should stretch you a bit, pull you outside your comfort zone. That's where the real growth happens.
Think about Thomas Edison again. He didn't just have a vague idea for a light bulb.
No way.
He set this incredibly audacious goal. Practical electric lighting for everyone. And then he planned and executed thousands of experiments, each one a specific action toward that goal.
Or Ford, constantly tweaking the assembly line, setting specific production targets, always chasing efficiency. These weren't lucky guesses.
Yeah.
They were the result of clear vision married to systematic, persistent action.
It really is those small daily actions done consistently that compound over time into huge results.
Yeah.
You don't reach a massive goal in one giant leap.
No.
You do it by taking one intentional step, then another, then another.
So define your destination clearly. Break it down into actionable steps, and then commit. Commit to relentless, intelligent execution. You don't wait for success. You build it, day by day.
Okay, so while you're building and executing, life inevitably throws those curveballs.
Always does.
Which brings us to another vital component, the capacity to turn setbacks into powerful comebacks.
Resilience.
Yeah, challenges aren't the exception on the path to success. They are literally part of the landscape. Obstacles, failures, disappointments, they're guaranteed.
So the real differentiator isn't whether you stumble and fall.
Everyone does.
It's how quickly and how strongly you get back up. That's resilience.
It's that inner strength, isn't it? That fortitude to persist even when things are tough, to keep moving when you feel totally defeated. The road to anything worthwhile is paved with resistance.
Yeah.
And that resistance, it's not just there to block you.
What's it there for then?
It's there to test you, to strengthen you. And you have to fundamentally reframe what failure even means. It's not the opposite of success.
Not at all. It's just a necessary step on the way to success. Every setback holds valuable information, a lesson, if you're willing to actually look for it.
Every challenge is like a disguised opportunity for growth, for learning something critical you couldn't have learned otherwise.
Exactly. When life knocks you down, the only real failure is choosing to stay down.
And we see this in truly monumental lives. Look at Abraham Lincoln.
Incredible resilience.
He faced just an unbelievable string of losses, personal tragedies, career setbacks, intense criticism. Yet he found the strength to lead a nation through its absolute darkest hour. His ability to just absorb blows and keep going was legendary.
So how do you cultivate that level of resilience? It starts, I think, with training your mind, training it to see struggles not as punishment,
Right. Not why me.
but as workouts, challenging workouts designed to make you stronger.
So when you hit difficulty, instead of that default, why is this happening to me? You consciously shift to,
What can I learn here?
what's the lesson? How can this make me better or smarter for the next time? Embracing the lesson is key.
It's also about building mental toughness. Resilient people don't wallow in setbacks. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and take fresh action. They focus on what they can control, their response.
And crucially, it involves embracing discomfort, real growth, real strength. It's forged outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Pushing past perceived limits, even in small ways, builds that deep inner strength you need for the big stuff.
The greatest achievements are almost always tied to overcoming major adversity. Your ability to bounce back, stronger and wiser each time. That's a superpower on the path to attracting success.
Resilient people aren't those who never fail. They're just the ones who refuse to stop trying. Failure is temporary.
Quitting is what makes it permanent.
Exactly. Success isn't found by dodging hardships. It's found by courageously walking through them.
Stand up, learn, adapt, and just keep taking that next step.
Which brings us to another pillar you just can't build without. The unshakable power of self-belief.
This might be the most critical piece of the puzzle. Before the world believes in you, you absolutely must believe in yourself. It's the bedrock. Everything else is built on it.
It's true, isn't it? The biggest limitations we face are rarely external.
Almost never.
They're usually internal. Our own doubts, our fears, the negative story we sometimes tell ourselves, those are the real barriers.
I mean, think about it. If you don't hold a deep conviction in your own abilities, your own worth, why would anyone else? But when you project that belief, that quiet certainty, you become incredibly compelling. You become a force that can manifest opportunities others just don't see.
Think about the last time you felt really significant self-doubt. Was it based on objective reality? Or was it mostly fear?
Usually fear.
Fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown.
For most of us, self-doubt is learned. It's a conditioned response. But here's the empowering part. Belief, just like doubt, is ultimately a choice. And self-belief, it's not fixed. It's a muscle.
A muscle you build.
Through consistent action and conscious thought. Every time you take a step, even when you feel afraid, every time you face a challenge and navigate even a small one, you strengthen that belief muscle.
So start small. Make commitments, follow through, consciously acknowledge, hey, I did that. Build evidence for your own belief.
Exactly. History is jam-packed with people who succeeded not because everyone cheered them on from the start.
Often the opposite.
Right. But because they believed in themselves first. Walt Disney faced bankruptcy, was told he lacked creativity, then built a global empire.
Henry Ford was ridiculed for his vision of putting the world on wheels. But his conviction just powered him through.
The Wright brothers, dismissed as eccentric dreamers by the establishment for trying to achieve heavier-than-air flight.
Crazy idea at the time.
But their profound belief in their purpose, their process, it literally lifted humanity into the skies. Their confidence wasn't a gift, they built it. Through relentless effort, learning from failure, and just unshakable faith in what was possible for them.
The moment you cultivate genuine self-belief, something shifts. You carry yourself differently.
You do.
You speak with more conviction. And the world starts to kind of mirror that belief back to you. Opportunities aren't just random. They're drawn to the person projecting capability and certainty.
People are drawn to competence and confidence. There's a real magnetic energy to someone who trusts themselves and their vision.
And true self-belief isn't arrogance, is it?
Not at all. It's a quiet, powerful conviction. Born from knowing your worth, continuously developing your skills, and taking purposeful action aligned with your vision. It's about consciously silencing that inner critic and choosing determination instead.
Even when you hit setbacks, that self-belief gives you the strength to analyze, learn, and get back up again.
Absolutely. The gap between settling for okay and achieving your dreams is so often bridged by the courage to believe in yourself, especially when the odds look bad and others are skeptical.
Every great success story starts with someone who decided they were capable, long before there was any external proof.
Choose to believe in yourself today, not when you feel ready, now. That decision is the first real step in attracting the success that matches your potential.
Success finds those who bravely validate themselves first.
Stand tall, trust the person you're becoming, move forward with faith. Because when that self-belief is truly unshakable, you become, well, pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, which brings us to maybe the most practical, but often the hardest piece of this puzzle, the essential role of discipline.
Oh, yeah. If success had just one single non-negotiable tool, it would probably be discipline.
Not talent, not luck, not even brilliant ideas.
Not on their own, no. It's the cultivated habit. Consistently doing what needs to be done, whether you feel motivated or inspired in that moment or not.
That's the key, isn't it? So many people wait for inspiration, wait to feel motivated before they act. But motivation, It comes and goes. It's an emotion.
And constantly waiting for that feeling, that's a guaranteed path to inconsistency. Discipline is the sturdy bridge between having ambitious goals and actually accomplishing them. It's showing up even when you really don't want to.
Look at anyone who's achieved mastery. In anything, elite athletes train when they're sore, when they're tired. Successful entrepreneurs work late or get up early when no one's watching. Writers hit their word count, even when the muse is silent.
They don't rely on mood. They rely on habit, on commitment, on their trained ability to just do the necessary work day in, day out. That's the quiet power of discipline.
And just like self-belief, discipline is a muscle.
Totally.
The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And you build it not through these huge, heroic efforts once in a while,
Well, it burned you out.
but through small, consistent wins. Wake up at the same time for a week. Stick to a planned task for just 30 minutes. Follow through on one tiny commitment you make to yourself.
Each small act of discipline is like one rep in the gym. Over time, weeks, months, years, these seemingly minor things compound. They build the foundation for huge results.
Discipline provides the structure that even the most brilliant ideas need to actually take root and grow.
$1 million vision is still just a vision without the disciplined execution needed to make it real.
There's that old saying, right? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
And consistent hard work is just discipline in action.
So you have to ask yourself honestly, are my daily habits, my routines, the small choices I'm making, are they aligned with the person I want to become, with the goals I've set?
If not, that's where the work starts, building that discipline. Success isn't built on sporadic bursts of effort. It's built on what you do consistently, methodically, every single day.
The choices you make in those quiet moments, the disciplines you either embrace or ignore, they are actively shaping your future reality.
If you discipline yourself to take consistent, intelligent action, especially when it's hard or boring, you become incredibly capable.
The path to anything significant is often long. It's demanding. There will absolutely be days you feel exhausted, discouraged, ready to quit.
Guaranteed.
Discipline is what keeps your feet moving forward when motivation has packed its bags and left.
It ensures you keep making progress. Inch by inch, step by step, through all those inevitable challenges. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment.
Just start building that discipline now, in the smallest possible way.
Train your discipline consistently. And watch how that unwavering consistency transforms your dreams from just ideas into actual, tangible reality. Success belongs to those who show up, do the work, and never stop pushing forward because they are disciplined.
Okay, moving outwards a bit from these internal foundations, we hit another crucial element, the critical art of continuous learning and adaptability.
We live in a world that's changing, faster than ever before, right?
Absolutely. Information overload, technology evolving constantly.
What worked yesterday might be totally obsolete tomorrow.
So the people, the organizations that thrive in this kind of environment, they aren't the ones resisting change.
No, they embrace it. They see it as a constant opportunity. They're perpetual students, committed to lifelong learning, always seeking new knowledge, refining their skills, adapting their approach.
In today's world, adaptability isn't just like a nice-to-have competitive edge.
It's becoming essential for basic relevance, let alone long-term success.
And knowledge itself is powerful, sure, but its real power is only unlocked when you apply it.
That's the key.
Just consuming information, reading, listening, it's not enough. It's the application of that knowledge, integrating it into how you think and act that makes the real difference.
Growth isn't passive. It takes conscious effort, intention, and a willingness to step outside what's familiar.
Yeah.
It means being open to new ideas, different perspectives, even the ones that feel uncomfortable at first or challenge what you currently believe.
The moment you think you know it all.
You stop growing.
Right. And in this dynamic world, stagnation is basically the beginning of decline. The world doesn't wait for you to catch up.
Think about the great innovators, the great leaders throughout history. They were always, without exception, humble students, students of their craft, their industry, human nature. True wisdom isn't having all the answers. It's cultivating the curiosity and the humility to just keep asking questions, keep seeking new insights.
Think of your mind, your skills, like a vital tool.
Good analogy.
If you don't regularly sharpen it through learning, new experiences, deliberate practice, it gets dull. Less effective at navigating the complexities, the opportunities you'll face.
Personal development isn't a one-off course or reading a single book. It's a continuous commitment. A daily practice of honing your mind, expanding your understanding, making sure you stay relevant and capable.
So a practical question to maybe ask yourself daily is, what am I learning today that's going to make me better tomorrow?
Yeah. Am I reading things that challenge my thinking? Am I seeking out conversations with people who see things differently or know more than I do?
And maybe most importantly, am I taking what I learn and actually applying it?
Because knowledge without action is just inert potential, like a seed you never plant.
Right.
It's the combination acquiring knowledge and consistently taking intelligent action based on it that creates real momentum.
Yeah.
That's the force driving innovation, adaptation, lasting success.
The world will change. That's a given. The question is, will you choose to evolve with it?
Will you commit to lifelong learning, adaptation, growth, or risk becoming obsolete?
Embrace that mindset of a perpetual student. Actively seek new information, deliberately apply what you find, commit to that ongoing process of sharpening your skills and perspective.
It really feels like the only way to truly thrive is to keep learning, keep growing, keep adapting.
Okay, so moving beyond the purely internal landscape in your active development, there's another critical factor. It's external. The undeniable impact of your inner circle.
Oh, this is huge. Take a really genuine, honest look at the people you spend the most significant amount of time with.
The ones you talk to most, hang out with most.
Exactly. They are exerting an influence, often subtly, but they're either lifting you up or potentially pulling you down.
Success isn't purely an individual thing, is it? It's profoundly shaped by the environment you create around yourself.
And the people in that environment, they're the most powerful influence of all. Your closest relationships shape your mindset, your beliefs about what's even possible, your daily habits.
There's that saying, right? You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
There's deep truth in that. If you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, positive, growing, that energy becomes your new normal.
And the flip side.
If you spend time with people who are cynical, complacent, always complaining, you'll likely find yourself lowering your own standards, draining your own energy. It just happens.
Energy, mindset, ambition, they're all contagious.
Incredibly contagious. Spending time with those who settle makes settling seem okay. Spending time with those pushing boundaries, striving for more, that inspires you to rise up too.
People who achieve big things are often fiercely intentional about this, about curating their inner circle.
They are. They actively seek out mentors, they build relationships with other high achievers, and they're willing to create respectful distance from chronic negativity or influences that just drain them or dampen their ambition.
And this isn't about being ruthless or cutting people off necessarily.
Oh no, not usually.
It's about recognizing that your well-being, your mindset, your trajectory, these are incredibly valuable assets. You have to protect them and invest in them wisely. Every significant conversation, every shared hour, it's either moving you closer to your goals or subtly pulling you away.
Ask yourself honestly, are the people closest to me contributing positively to the person I want to become?
Do they encourage my goals, challenge my thinking constructively, support my growth?
Or do they mostly reinforce doubt, negativity, complacency?
Your inner circle, ideally, should be a source of inspiration, accountability, diverse perspectives, genuine support.
Doesn't mean you ditch old friends, but it does mean being discerning, intentional about who gets prime access to your time, your energy, your mental space.
Sometimes creating those respectful boundaries or just a bit more distance is necessary for your own development.
You don't owe anyone your stagnation. You owe it to yourself to create an environment where you can actually thrive.
So actively seek out people who embody the qualities you admire. People who are living the principles we're talking about, or who've navigated paths you want to follow.
Build real connections with people who celebrate your wins and offer solid support through the tough times.
The people around you matter immensely. They influence the conversations you have, the ideas you consider, the standards you hold.
And ultimately, the limits you perceive for yourself. To elevate your life and attract greater success, you have to consciously elevate the people you allow to influence you most deeply.
Choose your circle wisely.
Absolutely. The people you surround yourself with aren't just impacting your present, they're actively shaping the person you're becoming and the future you're creating.
Okay, finally, let's talk about the sort of invisible framework that holds all of this together. And that's the fundamental shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Yes. Success, when you get right down to it, is a manifestation of your mindset. How you see the world through a lens of lack or a lens of possibility fundamentally determines what opportunities you even notice, let alone attract.
A scarcity mindset, right? It operates from fear, right?
Yeah.
limitation. It whispers things like, there isn't enough to go around.
If someone else wins, that means less for me. Resources are finite, gotta hoard mine. That perspective breeds comparison, envy, intense, often unhealthy competition.
People stuck in scarcity thinking, see the world as a zero-sum game.
Exactly. They hesitate to collaborate because they fear helping others will somehow deplete their own chances or resources. They tend to focus on what's missing, on the problems, on the perceived lack.
And critically, this mindset often creates its own reality. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It really is. By constantly focusing on limitations and lack, their brains literally get wired to spot only the evidence that confirms that view. They filter out opportunities and reinforce their sense of constraint. Focusing on scarcity attracts more scarcity.
So what's the alternative? The abundance mindset.
It operates from a place of profound possibility and gratitude. It believes, fundamentally, opportunities are everywhere.
There's more than enough for everyone.
Someone else's success is inspiring. It shows me what's possible.
Individuals with this perspective see potential where others just see problems. They view success not as this limited pie everyone's fighting over,
But as an ever-expanding universe of possibilities. They see others not just as competitors, but as potential collaborators, mentors, fellow travelers on different journeys.
This mindset naturally fosters creativity, generosity, a willingness to jump on opportunities, because they aren't paralyzed by what might go wrong or what could be lost.
They focus on expansion, innovation, contributing value.
The difference between people who achieve extraordinary things and those who struggle often isn't about external opportunity. It's fundamentally internal. It's mindset.
Those with an abundance mindset are just far more likely to see obstacles as challenges to overcome. Setbacks become valuable lessons. Temporary failures are just steps on the path, not dead ends.
Instead of that victim mentality, why is this happening to me?
They ask the empowered question, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger, more resourceful? That shift from victim to student turns adversity into fuel.
You really do become what you focus on most consistently.
Absolutely. If your internal dialogue, your external attention is always centered on problems, lack, what's wrong, you will inevitably attract more experiences that reinforce that.
But if you make a conscious choice, a deliberate choice, to focus on solutions, possibilities, what's right, and critically, on gratitude for what you already have,
Your brain starts to identify and create more experiences that align with that positive focus.
shifting from scarcity to abundance,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always easy, though. It takes conscious effort, doesn't it? Consistent practice.
Definitely. It means catching those negative, limited thoughts and actively reframing them. Instead of thinking, oh, I can't afford to do that, try asking, okay, how can I make it possible to do that?
Or instead of seeing someone else succeed and feeling that pang of envy, thinking, I'll never be able to do that.
Consciously reframe it to, wow, that's inspiring. If they can do it, it shows what's possible. What can I learn from their journey?
Actively surround yourself with people who embody that abundance mindset, too. That helps.
Huge difference. Consume content that expands your view of what's possible and integrate a daily practice of gratitude.
Gratitude. Why is that so powerful here?
It's one of the strongest antidotes to scarcity thinking. By consistently focusing on and appreciating the abundance you already have, your skills, relationships, health, past wins, whatever it is, you train your mind to see and attract even more positive experiences. It shifts your whole vibrational state, really.
Your mindset isn't just a feeling. It's like the invisible architecture of your reality.
Well said.
To attract more success, more joy, more fulfillment, you have to consciously cultivate the mindset, the feelings, the actions of someone who's already experiencing those things.
See challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, others' success as inspiration. Make that deliberate shift to abundance thinking, and you will literally reshape the world you experience and the opportunities that flow to you.
So there we have it. A pretty deep dive into becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts success.
Yeah.
And it seems clear from looking at these ideas, it's really not about chasing some external formula or just getting lucky.
No, it's much deeper than that. It's about a profound, intentional transformation of your inner world, your identity, beliefs, habits, mindset, aligning all of that with the outer success you envision.
Think back to Edwin C. Barnes, embodying that identity of Edison's partner long before it happened.
Right. Or Henry Ford's unwavering belief driving him through failures. They became the individuals capable of attracting and handling that level of achievement.
This is really about unlocking and cultivating something incredibly powerful that's already inside you. It's about intentional becoming, not random chance.
Exactly. We've looked at how who you become shapes your destiny, the power of clear goals, driving execution, the resilience to turn setbacks into comebacks.
The absolute necessity of unshakable self-belief, the quiet strength of discipline, the vital role of continuous learning and adapting.
The huge influence of your inner circle and that fundamental shift from scarcity to abundance thinking, it all ties together.
So given everything we've discussed about cultivating this sort of magnetic force for success within yourself, let's leave you with this question to really ponder.
Okay.
What is the single smallest step you can take today to align your identity, or maybe a key habit, or even just your mindset, with a person who already embodies the success you deeply desire?
Reflect on that. It doesn't have to be massive, just one small intentional action, one slight shift in perspective, maybe, or routine, something that moves you just a tiny bit closer to becoming that person.
That's your challenge.
Yeah.
Identify that smallest step, take it, and begin building the person who doesn't need to chase success.
Because they inherently attract it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep becoming.